Hello, everyone. I just woke up from a pretty trippy dream. I'm not sure if this was a spiritual thing. I usually have, spiritual dreams, and then I come on here and I try to, talk about it before I forget. But I don't think this was. I mean, it could have been a spiritual dream. I'm not sure, but anyways, it was a trip, so I want to talk about it. I so I don't remember how I got into this like building or house or what it was. I just remember I was trying to get out. I was trying to leave. And I went through this room, or I opened up a door, went to this other room. And when I got there, there was another door in that room. And so I went through that door. And when I went into that room, it was the same exact room I just came out of. And there was another door. I went through that door, and the same thing. I kept entering the same room. I want to say that happened about 6 or 7 times. Till finally I got to this I want to say it was the same room, but it looked a little different. And in this room, I could see outside. I could see outside in the other rooms, but it looked you know how when you're playing a video game and there's certain buildings you can go into, but there's certain ones you can't. They're just like extras. So when you try to peek through the windows, you can't really see much. Well, that's how it looked outside in the other rooms. But when I got to this room, it was like the last one, you can actually see outside. But the thing is this door to go outside, to go out of this room, was a different door. It was off to the left, and it was super tall. And it was locked. This door was locked. I couldn't just leave. So I sat down off to the right in this little chair, and there was a little table right there. I sat down. And so I'm sitting in this chair, and I'm kind of gazing out the window, and there's this key. It kind of reminded me of like a wind chime, because it was I mean, it was like a mini wind chime. It was really small. It was a key, but I didn't even know it was a key yet. It just looked like a long piece of metal and almost like a stick. And at the end of it, it had these strings, kind of like a wind chime. And at the end of each string was like a little, I want to say a jewel or like a shiny rock or something. And I'm looking at this thing. I grab it, and I'm just kind of fascinated by it. I'm just staring at it. And then the weird part is I took one of the rocks off and I ate it, and it was a pistachio nut. I don't know what that was about. I think that's just my mind. But so I realized that it was a key. And I was like, oh, this is probably how I leave this room. This is probably the key to exit. And so I walk up to the door. Remember, it's a tall door, almost like, for a giant or something. So I walk up to the door. I have to like reach up really high. I stick the key in, I turn it, and I can hear click, like it unlocked. And then I turn it back, I take the key out, and I hold on to the key. And I walk outside. I open up the door, I walk outside, and I'm on Main Street in Merced. And it's the building I walk out of is where they have that King Cuisine or whatever it's called, where you get the sushi. But only thing is it wasn't that place at the time. So I'm walking out of that building, but it was a different building. And when I walk outside, it was, I don't know, it was like 1890 or like 1901. It's a long time ago when I walked outside, and it was nighttime. Across the street is what, the cinema, the theater. That wasn't there. It was like some other old looking buildings. And the cars that were going by were all like old school bomb cars. And I'm just tripping out like, bruh, what's going on? I'm looking around. And so I step out further and I go to the sidewalk and I look off to the right, and like far down, kind of like where G Street's at. And from afar off, I can see this huge factory, like this huge plant, and I can see the machines moving from a distance. And you know how when you look far, you can see like mountains, like going towards like Yosemite, like you can see the mountains from far away. Like I could see these big machines, but it's a plant. They're like, I don't know, processing something or building something. And from far away, I can see the factory working. And then it dawned on me, every time I entered the room and then I opened the door and went to another room, I was actually traveling back in time. So every time I went into another room, it was 100 years back. Another room, 100 years backwards. Another room, 100 years backwards. So every time I went into another room, when I finally got outside, I was in the past. I don't know what this dream means, man, but it was a trip. And I really took it all in when I was there because I knew I wasn't going to see it again. And it felt real. Everything felt real. The cars were old cars. I think I even seen a couple horses on like a stagecoach or whatever you call them. And yeah, man, it was a trip. Just seeing everything old. Just everything was old. The key I had was old. Like it looked like an ancient key, and the door that I opened up was old, like really old fashioned. And it was a pretty crazy experience to have that dream. Like I said, I don't know what it means. Just wanted to share it with everybody. It definitely was Merced, California. It was Main Street. Just everything was not what it is today. It was a bunch of old buildings, old cars. What I saw. Like, sometimes I feel like, people's dreams, like your dream is for you. What you seen, you're not going to be able to explain it to nobody. You know what I mean? It was your experience. It was your dream. So if I sound like, boring, my bad. I'm trying my best to, explain it. And also the factory that I can see from far off. Um, you know how like OSHA will come and show up to factories and make sure things are up to par because, they're all about safety and quality. Well, this is back in the day. So like at that factory, there was like, the workers were dying all the time. Like, I want to say like once a week, there was another worker that died. I don't know how I got that information in the dream, but that factory, like people were just dying. And I was just looking around, man. It was a trippy dream. Like I said, I wish I could paint the picture for you, what I saw, but it was pretty awesome and pretty weird. Later.